This is VOA Africa.
Good evening, I'm Esther Giduyuat. It's Friday, February 21st. This is Africa 54.
Lesotho's Prime Minister skips out on his court appearance Friday as murder charges loom in the killing of his first wife. Togo's National Election Commission bars an independent observer group from monitoring Saturday's presidential election. And in our entertainment report, fresh sounds from Ugandan R&B artist Maro.
There's a new twist in the murder case involving Lesotho's Prime Minister. Tedros Thabane failed to appear in court on Friday in connection with the killing of his first wife, Lipolelo. Thabane was set to be formally charged with Lipolelo's murder, but his son, Potlako, says the Prime Minister has traveled to South Africa to see a doctor and that he has not, quote, fled the country. Lipolelo Thabane was shot dead in June 2017 near her home in Maseru, only 2 days before Thabane took office. Lipolelo, then 58, and Tedros Thabane were going through a bitter divorce at the time of her death, when an unknown assailant shot and killed her in her car. Thabane's current wife, Messiah, 42, has already been charged with ordering the killing, but is currently out on bail. Messiah and Tedros Thabane, who married 2 months after Lipolelo's killing, are both denying any involvement in her death. Thabane's private secretary says the Prime Minister is expected to be back in Lesotho this weekend. Togo's National Election Commission has revoked the credentials of the National Consultation of Civil Society of Togo to dispatch 500 observers nationwide for Saturday's presidential election. The commission accuses the group of preparing to carry out interference during the vote. Incumbent Faure Gnassingbe is running for a 4th term, and longtime opposition leader Jean-Pierre Fabre is running for a 3rd time. 5 other candidates are competing, including former Prime Minister Gabriel Messan Ayebome Kojo, who represents a coalition of opposition and civil society groups. Some experts believe Gnassingbe could win in the first round without having to go to a runoff vote. He enacted a law last year limiting presidents to 2 5-year terms. However, it does not account for the 3 terms Gnassingbe has already served, so he could stay in power until 2030. Now, for more on Saturday's election, VOA reporter Arman Ungbo joins me by phone from Lome. Hello, Arman. Give us the latest news on Saturday's vote. Arman, can you hear me?
Yes, Yes, I'm hearing you. According to the commission, everything is ready. Immediately on Wednesday, during a press conference attended by all the observers in the country by different institutions, ECOWAS, the African Union, and the Community of Sahel-Saharan States. So back to your question, yes, everything is ready, and the Independent National Electoral Commission said it intended to play its role fully and impartially in the next context of this Saturday election.
Well, the phone line is not very clear, but what's the reaction following their decision by the Electoral Commission to disqualify observers from Saturday's vote?
These are the Episcopal Commission, Justice and Peace, the National Civil Society Consultation, and the National Democratic Institute, which is an American NGO. The electoral body accused them, among other things, of interfering with electoral operations. Director of one of the organizations, the National Civil Society Consultation, with whom I just spoke, told me that he really doesn't know why his organization is accused, and he rejected all the charges. He announced that he will appeal the decision after the election in order to establish the truth. But in the meantime, Other observers, particularly international ones, are increasing the meeting with the authorities in charge of the election to find out exactly what they are accused of.
So what are Togolese voters looking forward to after tomorrow's vote?
As you already know, more than 3.6 million voters are expected to the poll tomorrow for an election. People in Togo hope will give new impetus to development in the country, in particular for the youth. They say they need jobs, a good economy, infrastructure, and of course a good health system, especially for women.
Arman, thank you very much for your reporting. VOA's Arman Ongo.
My pleasure.
Reporting from Lomé in Togo. The World Health Organization is emphasizing the need for all countries with cases of coronavirus to work with the organization to help contain and eliminate the respiratory flu-like disease. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus declared that now is not the time for complacency. Here's VOA's Julie Tabo with more.
In its Thursday press briefing in Geneva on Thursday, the World Health Organization emphasized the importance of containing and eliminating the coronavirus, which the WHO Director General referred to as public enemy number one.
As of 6 a.m. Geneva time this morning, China has reported 74,675 cases of COVID-19 to WHO, including 2,121 deaths. The data from China continue to show a decline in new confirmed cases. Once again, we're encouraged by this trend, but this is no time for complacency.
Several countries have reported new cases of the virus.
Outside China, there are now 1,076 cases in 26 countries, with a total of 7 deaths.
Of all cases outside China, more than half are among passengers on the Diamond Princess cruise ship.
The first passengers have now disembarked, providing they have a negative test, no symptoms, and no contact with a confirmed case in the past 14 days. Japan has also advised passengers to stay at home for a further 14 days and monitor their temperature. And also, Japan has set up a hotline for passengers to call if they have concerns.
In the past 24 hours, the Islamic Republic of Iran has reported 5 cases of the virus, including 2 people who have died. And there are now more than 100 confirmed cases reported in South Korea.
The number of cases in South Korea reported today are actually from several distinct clusters, which the Korean authorities are following very closely. So although the number seems quite high, they are mostly linked to known existing outbreaks.
In addition to monitoring the evolution of the outbreak, the WHO says its main role is to work with countries and partners to coordinate the global response.
As you know, a WHO-led international team of experts is now on the ground in China, working with their Chinese counterparts to find answers to some of the things we don't know, including the transmissibility of the virus and the impact of the measures that China has taken.
The WHO's research and development team is developing drugs for potential treatment.
So at this moment in time, there is no proven effective treatment for COVID-19. And so that is clear at this moment in time. However, there are ongoing clinical trials being done in China at this moment as well.
The Director General said that while the number of cases of COVID-19 outside of China remains small, he cautioned it may not stay that way for long. He urges the international community to work together to control the spread of the virus. Julie Tabo, VOA News.
A South African woman is breaking stereotypes about people with albinism. Rifilwe Modisel is an albino model and actress. Her new film, White World, has been nominated in the Best Short Narrative category at the 28th Annual Pan-African Film Festival. This category is a possible qualifier for the 2021 Oscars should it win. Here's a preview.
Reports coming in of a person person with albinism.
The myth that consuming people with albinism will bring good luck continues to fuel this lucrative evil trade.
He did this to me!
Are you sure you want to do this, my girl?
Natron thinks he's a god.
Do you think you're more powerful than me?
Death needs to stare him in the face for once, Baba.
This had better be important.
Mansa! When will Mansa start teaching us again?
I don't know.
I want to make him feel very human.
Rifilwe joins me now from Los Angeles. Good morning, Rifilwe, and welcome to Africa 54.
Good morning, Esther. How are you?
I am happy to have you on our show. Tell me, what's the message behind this film?
The message behind this film, and especially as Africa's first successful model with albinism, is to create awareness around the myths and misconceptions that go around in terms of
Looks like we're having trouble with that remote. Hopefully we'll be able to get Rifilwe back before the end of the show. All right, so we move on. We'll take a break. And, okay, I'm told we could get Rifilwe back. Rifilwe, can you hear me? Go ahead and talk to me about the message.
Hi, Esther.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so the message of the film, as Africa's first successful model with albinism, it basically states around the education behind the myths and misconceptions that happen with people with albinism in terms of their arms and their limbs having hacked off. So it's just to create awareness around that trait that is happening and, you know, for legislature to actually play a role in terms of, you know, demystifying the myths and misconceptions around albinism.
Now, you talk about the misconceptions. We've seen a lot happen to people with albinism, especially in Malawi and Tanzania and other countries in Africa. What's your personal story? What are some of the challenges you've faced as one with albinism?
I mean, I come from a liberal country, which is South Africa, so I've had it much easier in terms of my journey with albinism. But the one thing for sure is the fact that we are not treated as normal people who can do everything in society, and as well as not be placed in certain spaces to integrate normally with other people. So some of those challenges are exactly that, and especially going into an industry of this nature, you don't find the representation of people with albinism, which is important to say that we're human beings and we're capable to do all the things that we need to do.
So what are some of the responses you're getting after people watched this film?
The response has been absolutely amazing right here in Los Angeles. People are, you know, aware now of this thing that's just been happening, and, you know, some people actually want to pitch in, and as well as just generally, you know, taking the movie forward in terms of having a full feature for it.
So what's next for you, Rifilwe?
What's next is definitely what goes to the feature along the way, and more education in line with, obviously, albinism and the awareness created around it.
Rifilwe, you are a brave woman. Very, very happy to have you come on our show today. Thank you so much. Rifilwe.
Thank you, Esther.
Rifilwe Modisel is a South African model and actress. And we're excited to hear what you think about Africa 54. Join the discussion on Facebook. The address is Africa 54. We're also streaming our broadcast live on Facebook. Please watch and share our show with your friends. Also check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Still to come, hot R&B from Ugandan performer Maru. We'll be back.
More than just sitting here and talking about women's issues, it's about listening to them
and bringing their opinions to the table and making sure their voices are heard.
Because our lived experiences, our stories, and our voices will help shape the next generation.
Clara Frank, and here's what's trending. South Sudanese refugee Lual Mayan was born 25 years ago as his family was escaping the country's second civil war. Growing up in a refugee camp, Mayan never even saw a computer until one day at age 12, he reported to the camp's registration center. For the next 3 years, his mother stashed away $300 to buy him a laptop, which he now keeps in a glass display case in his apartment. Eventually, he developed a mobile game titled Salam, an Arabic greeting meaning peace, that would put players in the shoes of a refugee, giving players a better understanding of what it means to be homeless, hungry, and on the run. His game went viral after he uploaded it to Facebook and caught the attention of the gaming industry. Next up, new Baby Yoda toys from Walt Disney's streaming TV hit The Mandalorian are expected to reach stores in March. The character, officially called the Child, but which has been dubbed Baby Yoda by fans, is the breakout star of the Star Wars-themed show on the Disney Plus subscription streaming service. Fans have clamored for toys and merchandise since the service's debut in November. But Baby Yoda toys were not available before the premiere season of The Mandalorian because the creators wanted to maintain the show's secrecy. And that's what's trending today.
The U.S. Democratic presidential candidates are in the western state of Nevada as it prepares for Saturday's nominating caucuses. Candidates are competing for the votes of 200,000 union members. As VOA's Caroline Presutti reports from Las Vegas, securing union backing is more challenging than in previous election years.
U.S. labor unions historically have played a powerful role in politics. At their peak, 21 million workers were unionized nationwide. Decades ago, getting organized labor's endorsement could almost guarantee a candidate's victory. That's still true here in Nevada, home to casinos and the still powerful Culinary Union, with 60,000 members. The union has endorsed numerous candidates in its 84 years, but not now. Instead, choosing to promote labor's priorities and goals, rather than rallying behind a single candidate in the primary.
We're going to endorse our goals, what we're doing. That's what we're going to endorse. Are you ready for me?
Deirdre Felgar worked for years in a union job. She wishes that everyone would join forces to support one Democrat to defeat President Donald Trump in November.
Many voices speak louder than one.
Anyone who eats at the Fremont Hotel and Casino might see longtime Culinary Union member Jason Miranda, who works in kitchen supplies. He says he didn't wait for his union's endorsement to vote in the caucuses.
Main issues, probably health care, protect our health care.
While the Culinary Union didn't endorse, it did warn members that Senator Bernie Sanders' government-funded Medicare for All would end union-negotiated private health insurance. Again, Miranda is unfazed.
I think Bernie Sanders is a very decent man.
Gary Bauman has been a member of the taxi union for more than 40 years. He voted early for the candidate he believes most likely to defeat Trump.
Pretty split between Joe Biden and Amy Klobuchar.
Bauman bought a house from his taxi earnings, but says that would be impossible today as organized labor's clout has waned.
They're going to have bartenders that are machines and a lot of other things like that. So there's going to be a big fight here.
Analysts say the candidate most likely to be hurt by no union endorsement is former Vice President Joe Biden. Biden, with his longtime ties to unions, is in need of a win after weak showings in Iowa and New Hampshire.
Now, for more insight on Nevada caucuses, let's go to Caroline Presutti, who is standing by live in Las Vegas. Caroline, what should we expect on Saturday as the candidates scramble for support in Nevada?
Well, Esther, you'll find the candidates still on the trail today and early tomorrow, either
basking in the glow of that debate, or maybe licking their wounds and kind of fending off the criticism from the debate. But Jill Biden, the wife of former Vice President Joe Biden, will be here today to campaign for her husband. Pete Buttigieg is asking supporters to help him reach his goal of $13 million by Super Tuesday. Elizabeth Warren announcing various endorsements from Nevada officials today. Amy Klobuchar even announcing her Sunday schedule, looking ahead to the next contest in this country. And of course, tomorrow is the big caucus here in Nevada. It starts at 10 a.m. for registration. Then everyone gathers at noon at various polling places around this city. So you'll be in that room with your neighbors, people who live near you, and you'll be asked to vote for your candidate by raising your hand. So the people that are for individual candidates will go in that corner of the room. If the candidate doesn't have 15% of the vote, they'll be considered unviable. So the voter can either decide to switch their support to another candidate, or they'll go home. They'll decide, well, I don't want to support another candidate. And that continues, those type of realignments, until the candidates are announced as those with more than 15%, and then the rankings will be announced as well.
Caroline, I just have to say thank you so much. You've wrapped it up well for us. Thank you. Caroline Presutti, reporting live from Las Vegas. It's time for Entertainment Report, and joining us shortly is Music Time in Africa host Heather Maxwell. Hello, Heather.
Hey, Esther. So today's featured artist is Ugandan R&B singer Ronald Magada, popularly known as Maro. He recently celebrated his decade in the music industry on Valentine's Day, February 14th, in Kampala with a live concert. The artist stands out among his contemporaries for representing the music and the cultural traditions of his birthplace, Bubulero village in Jinja district. His song Nziranago, which translates from Lusoga to English as I don't have, is a beautiful example. The message, too, imparts wisdom to younger generations with a twist of comedic dance. Don't ignore the words of your parents just because they're getting old. And that's our entertainment for this Friday. Back to you, Esther.
I am thoroughly entertained, Heather. Be sure to join Heather Maxwell next Friday for another entertainment report on Africa 54. And that's our show for today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. From all of us here in Washington, have a great weekend. Let's practice that.